Two men, two microphones, one movie, a couple of beers, and some wildly outlandish critiques about the movies you may or may not love. The following review will have massive spoilers and possibly offensive commentary. This content may not be suitable for little Brought to you by Goat Straw Entertainment and some liquid courage.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first ever episode of Not Your Everyday Critics. I'm your host, George Lugo.
And I'm Manny Rivera. We're here to tell you about our perspective on movies. I enjoy movies a lot. I've been watching movies forever. It's one of my biggest passions to do. And I just want to give you guys a little perspective of what I think about it.
Yeah, just like you and every other person on the planet, I've grown up watching films. I've watched everything from basically, like Willow to literally the movie we're going to discuss today. So, I mean, got a wide perspective, a wide range of movies that I've watched personally, and I'm hoping this is going to be a fun thing where you can see an interesting perspective on different movies, you know. So what we do here on this show is about critiquing movies. Obviously we're just two regular guys. We're Ian and Roper, the two big critics right now. So we're definitely not those. Yeah, definitely. We're definitely not those guys.
Yeah, no.
So we have a fun approach on judging movies. So stay tuned for some interesting points of view, some wild, witty, silly conversation. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff sometimes. So
yeah, no, we tend to bicker quite a bit on certain things. I see things differently than he does. He gets like the whole picture. It's for me, it's nitpicking, but yeah, it should be fun. This should be an interesting show.
It's going to be an interesting show, sure, for sure. But our passion for movies is literally borderline. Same, It's borderline a problem.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so let's jump right into this thing. The movie we're going to critique today is The Suicide Squad. Just newly released, was it like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that or whatever.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago on HBO Max and in theaters. So we're going to give you guys a quick synopsis of the movie. So supervillains Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and a collection of nutty cons at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X as they are dropped off at the remote enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. So this movie's fucking fantastic.
When I first watched the movie, I thought it was super hilarious because the all around the comedy was just really, really funny, and I enjoy it. You know what? It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. So we're gonna go through categories really quick, so you guys have an idea of what we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna talk about the cast. We're gonna talk about wardrobe, the intro. So the first 15 minutes of the movie, dialogue, writing, pacing, stuff like that. Fight scenes. Graphics and practical effects. We're gonna discuss direction, the score, and then the outro. So the last 15 minutes of the movie, and then at the end we're gonna give our rating. So you guys are gonna see how we rate stuff. It's gonna be definitely odd.
Yeah, it's not a common rating, so just bear with us till the end. This is gonna be fun though. I just gotta say, this movie it's definitely better than some of the other DC movies for sure.
This for sure is better than most of the DC.
Exactly,
because it has a very unique formula. So it kind of almost feels like a Marvel movie. So I'm kind of want to attribute that to James Gunn. He's the director.
Yeah.
It's paced very well. So we're gonna get into that. So first, let's talk about the cast. Obviously, Harley Quinn's returning as, Margot Robbie's returning as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Don't know why I said that backwards. And we got Bloodsport, Idris Elba, John Cena's Peacemaker, Joel Kinnaman. That's Colonel Rick Flag. And then there's Michael Rooker. I was actually really happy to see him. He comes in as Savant. I love seeing him in movies. He's fucking fantastic. I've never seen a movie with him in it, and I'm like, damn, I wish they cast someone else. I'm always like, fuck yeah, he's in this movie. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I love
oh my God,
her as Amanda Waller.
She is so hard, such a badass character.
Yeah.
She plays her role so well. You love her and hate her at the same time.
That's a sign of a good actor.
And when an actor can do that kind of bullshit, it's like, fuck, I like you.
Yeah, I really enjoy her character a lot. Wow. So, and then we have John Ostrander, so Dr. Fitzgibbon. And then we have the small roles. So let's talk about some of the small roles. We got Nathan Fillion as TDK, Jay Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Flula Borg, I don't even know who that is, as Javelin, Mei Ling, I can't say her last name. It's NG.
Yeah,
I don't want to mispronounce that.
Don't even try it.
But she plays Mongol. Pete Davidson is Blackguard.
Dude.
So,
I saw that.
I like Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is fucking.
I think he is
Davidson,
hilarious.
he
That
is
guy
so
is
funny.
so funny.
He's so funny.
So fucking funny.
Oh, Sean Gunn did Weasel. That's actually kind of cool.
You mean the screaming the entire time?
Whatever, dude. That's a role, man. And then the rest, let's see. Daniela Melchior. She plays Ratcatcher too. And then, we're just going to do a couple quick, like Taika Waititi's in it as Ratcatcher.
Yeah.
He has like a very small, it's almost like a cameo role.
Yeah.
And then Sylvester Stallone voices King Shark.
King Shark.
So it's very cool actually. I like the direction they took with it. So I like the voice that they picked for King Shark. So that's really good.
You know what I heard? It didn't take a lot of convincing for Sylvester Stallone to.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it at all.
He pretty much said yes, like almost right away.
Nice.
After they told him about the role. So he's like, "Yep, yeah, I'm doing it."
So what do you feel? How do you feel about the cast now that we've gone over the cast?
You know what? I'm actually okay with the cast. I thought, having John Cena in there would be a bit of a distraction, whatever. But he played a really good role, as Peacemaker, especially when he was collaborating with Bloodsport. Their little banter against each other.
You're talking about like when they were, they do this several times in the movie, but I guess the most
basically competing towards
the most notable part is when they basically kill all the freedom fighters. So yeah, that's a good one.
Exactly,
that is a good one.
But I'm happy with the cast. I'm actually, it's a good casting. I don't really have too much of a problem with it. It just they all play their roles very well. Okay. I mean, even what is this? The Polka Dot Man, David Demachila or something like that.
I forget his name. You know what's weird is like they don't have him as like one of the main characters.
Even though he's one of the main characters,
he's literally one of the main characters. Of the
Polka
movie.
Dot Man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just plays the crazy, whatever,
yeah, he's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. He sees his mom everywhere to kill people.
That is so disturbing. It's always his mom, but it's so funny. It's David Desmalchian. David Desmalchian. Let's go with Desmalchian. That's cool.
I've seen him in quite a few things.
I've seen him in a few different movies, and every time I see him, he's a. I feel like he's kind of typecast into this type of role, like the very odd, very like I'm a little crazy type role. He's not. They don't cast him for very like versatile roles. He's very much typecast, which is kind of a bummer because he can act. So it's like maybe he needs to step out of his comfort zone and then try taking on a role that's a little more not a little more, but just different than what he's doing. Because I feel like he has the capabilities of like becoming like a all around great actor. Very versatile.
Yeah, I do like him playing the crazy polka dot man. I mean, I like John Cena being, Peacemaker. I like Blake. They were all good characters.
Yeah, the characters are really good. So there's no discrepancies there.
Yeah,
so
I didn't have a problem with.
So we're gonna move on to our next category. Our next category is wardrobe. So how do you feel about the costume?
All right. I've never read a Peacemaker comic at all, so I don't know what the original costume looked like, if that's what the costume's supposed to look like or whatever.
Okay. So going into it completely blind, how do you like it?
I don't think I like it very much. Okay. I think with a name like Peacemaker, the costume would have been something a little different. Especially for supposedly being the like badass combat assassin that he's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I would have thought the outfit would have definitely be a little different. Like that helmet. What's with the helmet?
The helmet's weird as shit. It really is, because it's like it's like a half helmet, right? But then it has like this, it flares up right in the middle like a frill, and it's like a little odd,
I love it.
It has no real use. I feel like
there's no significance. He goes, it's a symbol of peace. And freaking Alba's like, it's a toilet on your head.
Looks like a toilet seat.
Looks like a toilet seat.
Literally looks like a toilet seat.
And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for the rest of the costumes, let's go over it. Bloodsports. Bloodsports is pretty cool.
Bloodsports is pretty awesome.
It's very versatile, very Iron Man-esque, I feel like that was probably one of the things that bugged me the most, was that they did not talk about his tech at all. He just had it,
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Because like his tech's incorporated into the suit, so I mean, if they would have just discussed a little bit about that, I would have been cool.
Something to where he might give to, but then again, I remember you having this conversation with me saying that they're not going to always bring out, somebody's powers and stuff like that.
They're not
going to actually have another movie where it explames.
They're not they're not gonna go into detail about everything, because that would literally take too long, and they only have a time frame. They only have so much time they're allowed for the movie. So I mean, they're gonna record like 7 times that amount, but they have to cut it down, and whatever's in the sticks. Yeah. But I just feel like a little bit would have helped. Because none of us knew any, like I didn't know anything about that character at all. I was like, who the fuck is a Bloodsport?
At that point, I didn't give a shit. When he's pulling stuff off of him, I'm like, that is cool.
It's cool, and it's cool, but I mean, a little anything would have been nice.
Leave it to the imagination, man.
No. A little bit would have been nice.
A
little bit would have been nice. Whatever. Ratcatcher's costume, pretty chill. Very, very simple. Very simple. King Shark was just wearing shorts.
Yeah.
So he didn't have like he didn't have his like traditional, what is it, like a blazer with the sleeves ripped off.
I gotta say that Polka Dot Man's costume could have probably been a little.
I felt like I kind of liked his, because it was like it was kind of like the traditional one, but just like it kind of lightly did it up. It's a little modern, but it's still very retro. So that was very cool.
I don't know.
Because it could have. I mean, all right. So if you really think about it, they could have went the total opposite direction and gave him like a tight spandex suit with polka dots, which would have been super gay.
I mean, not a spandex suit or anything, but just.
But I mean, a lot of superheroes have that, and if they were gonna go like more modern, it definitely would have been like a tighter fitting suit. But they went with like the traditional. It's kind of a little loose, little baggy on him, but Like if you look at the suit, it's like stitched up in a certain way. It's not like old school, but it's like definitely not modern. It's like a weird like retro place right in the middle
with a bunch of polka dots on it.
with a bunch of polka dots on it.
Uh,
Yeah. And as for the rest of the cast, like TDK, Javelin, Harley Quinn always looks they always do her character justice. They need to because she's the one that's going to be in every single one, right? She sells the tickets. I mean, who are we kidding here? She's selling the tickets.
She is selling the tickets.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty good. I liked all those the wardrobe, the costumes, even for Thinker. I liked how they had the robes on his head. That was really cool. So we're gonna close the topic there on wardrobe, and we're gonna dive into the intro. So the first 15 minutes of the movie. So the movie starts out with like Savant in a jail cell, but I love the angle that they took. So like when I remember seeing it, and like you see it and it's kind of like upside down and inverted, but it like flips, and as it flips you see it's like you're looking at the reflection of a puddle, and then like the camera turns over. I remember watching it the very first time. It kind of made me a little queasy because there was so much motion. I was like, whoa, like the angle was so cool, but it like threw me off, like fucked up my equilibrium. But I really enjoyed the angle on that. And like, so he's sitting in the jail cell, and then he fucking, he has a ball and he throws it against the wall and hits, and there's all these X's on the wall, and he throws it at one X, it hits like 17, it comes right back to him. So, I mean, we're not going to discuss the whole 15 minutes, but I mean,
do like how they were playing Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash was great.
The intro music to that.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. Everything leading up to him bouncing the ball on the wall, him looking like a badass, killing the bird in the corner by ricocheting the ball everywhere.
Yeah. They play his character off like he's super badass.
It seemed like he was gonna be one of the baddest freaking characters once they introduced him. It just seemed that way. And then that wasn't the case.
That wasn't the fucking case at all.
The case at all. What's her name? The warden, Amanda Walker.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller comes in and gets him and says, "All right, you're up. Let's go." He sees everybody that supposedly supposed to work with him. He's like, amateurs. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
he's so, I guess, disappointed on what he has to work with.
Yeah.
Takes a look at everybody and he's not too happy. He looked disappointed in everything, but the reality was that he was probably the weaker one out of all of them.
I don't know all of their abilities, so I mean, let's just talk about the intro kind of like as a whole. So it basically show the team that we think we're gonna see, right? We think we're gonna see this whole team throughout the whole movie, or at least that's how they portrayed it, right? Yeah. So they land on the beach, they get sold out, and then the whole fucking Maltese army is there, and it just is. It's basically a shit show. Everyone, they start killing off all of the characters, including I didn't think they were going to kill Boomerang, at least that early in the movie. I was super bummed that they killed Boomerang because I loved his fucking character.
Yeah, thanks, Pete, for selling people out. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were going to kill off Boomerang. Since he made it through the last freaking movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Harley's insanity held up still. I like Harley. I like Flag. Flag is still
Flag is great. Flag's a great character.
He's always been the nice
great
dude.
character.
I like his character. I like his character a lot. But yeah, as soon as he sees all this stuff going down and everything like that, seeing people dying, freaking Savant just starts yelling, turns around screaming. So starts to run away.
Yeah, he starts running away. And then they basically warn him to not run away because it's desertion. And then, Amanda Waller just blows his fucking head up because who cares?
What a bitch.
Yeah, well, that's her character.
I meant Savant, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for the first 15 minutes, like it starts off like it's gonna be like this badass team, and then they all get fucking annihilated, and then they roll music, and then it's just all the characters are dead, and the song's literally about them being dead. It ties in so well. It was really well thought out, very well shot.
We're forgetting the weasel.
Oh, we did
We're
forget.
forgetting the weasel.
We did forget the weasel. So
the first one to die is the weasel.
The first one to die was the weasel. I mean,
did anybody check if the weasel can swim?
That was pretty good. I knew his character was gonna die. And to be honest, I thought his character was gonna die first. I'm like, they're not gonna have this guy the whole movie. You're fucking serious.
His screaming and everything like that was
pretty funny.
Super annoying. It's
pretty funny.
It's crazy. Who was the weasel again? It was like Sean
Gunn.
Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn.
So first 15 minutes of the movie, fantastic. So it's a great pace, and it's a great introduction to the movie to let you know that this is what the movie's going to be like from here on out. So expect this type of film. They did a very good job with the intro, and not just the intro, but just the movie in general.
Yeah.
So let's talk about we're going to talk about the dialogue, the writing, a little bit of character development and pacing. So
okay.
So overall, how did you enjoy the dialogue of the movie?
You know what? I didn't have a problem with the dialogue too much. As a matter of fact, everything that was okay for some of the script, because I actually saw this on one of the interviews that I was watching before we started doing the show and everything like that. A lot of them had to switch up what they had to say to make it fit into the movie, because it didn't read out the way they wanted to for their character. So they had to switch a lot of the dialogue to make it seem like they were more of a badass than like as their character is.
Okay.
So, I like the fact that they acknowledged that, some of the dialogue probably didn't fit in with the character, so they had to switch the dialogue to make it fit with the character, and it worked out. It worked out. I like how Bloodsport talked the entire time. He was French, right? He was French. Liked his accent. It was pretty good.
It was his normal accent.
Is his normal accent? I thought
that was his normal accent.
I don't know. Oh, wow.
That was his normal. Idris Elba's British, so that was
he is British.
He is British. That was his normal accent. So I thought it was kind of weird that like he didn't try and put on a French accent, but who gives a shit? I mean, it's all European. So, let's talk about. Do you think that the dialogue matched their personality?
I thought that, you know what? I do think the dialogue actually matched their personality. I thought every time that they spoke, they were that character.
Yeah.
They were that.
So it was
character.
believable.
It was so believable.
Then okay.
It was so believable.
That's
I gotta tell you right now, going into this, when I see John Cena in a movie, I am very
skeptic,
because he's a wrestler. I don't normally see him as an actor, although he's done
a lot of movies.
He's done quite a few movies.
He's done a lot of movies.
He hasn't done big budget movies. Like, this is a big budget movie.
He's done big budget. He's done big budget films. He's even been the star of big budget films.
Which one?
Like, what was that fucking movie he did, Marine? I think it was Marine, where he was that's a big budget film. That was like a summer blockbuster. That was a flop and a half. So, I mean, yeah, he's definitely... All right, so John Cena is a professional wrestler, so he already acts.
Yes.
Because that shit's fake as fuck. But that's what it is, though. It's literally...
They're just
wrestling.
Putting on the show. That's
Wrestling is a soap opera for men, right? So that's the fucking truth. Because there's a storyline.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of drama. but then there's also beer, tits, and wrestling. So I mean, it's
so
it's made for men.
It's made for men.
It's a Spike TV.
Although everybody,
it's the Spike TV of drama. So like, built for men.
But I was skeptic with John Cena coming in here because.
But he's been in things recently where he played a pretty good role. But his acting is still needs work.
Like,
it still needs work. It needs some trimming. He's not bad.
He's not
bad, but it just needs a little trimming. But I liked his take on Peacemaker, where he was very direct,
and that's where I was gonna head with.
But he was also like a little witty, and he has like an odd sense of humor to him.
Dude, when Peacemaker and Bloodsport are competing.
I know exactly what you're saying. So he's all like, so Peacemaker doesn't look at the guy, pulls the gun over his shoulder, and then shoots. It hits the bad guy in the shoulder, and he's like, non-lethal, you lose. He's all compression bullets, and the guy blows up. and then Bloodsport's all like, no one likes to show off. He's like, unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck. And then Bloodsport turns, and just so he doesn't see him, he's like, he's all, fuck, that's true. Like, I love that part. That's so good.
I loved that one. That one was pretty good.
It's so good. It's so good.
And even in the beginning, where Bloodsport flips him off, and freaking Peacemaker just, and he moves his head. Bloodsport moves his head.
Yeah, it's good.
I gotta say, John Cena.
So I think
Peacemaker.
Yeah, I think the dialogue's done really well. The writing's fantastic. Yeah. So they're really stepping up their game for the writing. Because I mean, there's some movies when you watch it and it's just like, I feel like a ninth grader wrote this, because it's not it's the content behind the dialogue is so weak and it's very like one dimensional. Yeah. So it's nice that we have a good team. So we have a good team. Like, the director's great, the writers are great. You know, the screenplay, all that stuff is fantastic. So let's talk about character development. So, did you like the pacing for the character development? Do you think there was even any character development? Do you think they just threw them all in there with all their shit?
I honestly, for me, I think they actually just threw them in there. It just seemed like they were being thrown in there. They had the one that I got a backstory of was like, I got a little bit from Bloodsport. I got a little bit from.
There's barely any for Bloodsport.
Yeah, but Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher definitely got the most, and even hers was small.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get a little bit from Polka Dot Man, but his is tiny.
Very slight. You get nothing from King Shark.
Nothing from King Shark.
Peacemaker,
they just go over his backstory at the very beginning, and that's it.
But military does the same thing, Bloodsport, and that was it.
Only better.
Yeah.
So character development definitely could have used a little bit, but I feel like the movie was so successful that I didn't miss it as much. I mean, there were some parts where I was like, a little character development would be nice, so maybe cut out this scene. But then again, we'd have a completely different movie, and we'd probably be having a different conversation. So I'm fine with the way they kept it. Maybe they'll do, maybe they'll have these characters in another movie or separate movies, and then do their character stories, their character developments then, because they could always touch back on it.
They could, but I don't know if they're gonna be doing that.
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. The DC is doing things so out of order that I have no idea what they're doing.
It's just weird. Come on, DC, let's go. You know?
Let's talk about pacing. So, the pacing of the movie. How did you like that?
I thought the movie was quick pacing.
It was pretty fast, right?
I thought it was pretty fast. Like,
was it so fast that you couldn't keep up?
It wasn't fast that I couldn't keep up. I will say there was a lot. You know what I mean? There was a lot. Yeah, it's just from one scene to the next, everything developing through the whole freaking film. there was just so much to try to keep up with, and you were able to keep up with it, but it was just a lot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you have a hard time focusing, this freaking movie's gonna be kind of a bummer because you're gonna not remember what the hell you just saw, and there's something completely different coming on. I do think it's quick paced. I still think you can keep up with it, but it was pretty quick.
Yeah, the pacing's pretty quick, but I don't think it's outlandishly fast. Where if you not paying attention for a little bit, you're gonna lose track of where you are and be lost. So I think the pacing was fast, but there's a lot of story. There's a lot of content there that they need to cover. So I think it was paced well enough where they can move on with the storyline, and the audience can also keep an interest. So that's also another thing is the attention span of the audience. You know, they have to take that into account when they're making movies like this, and you know, the audience probably already tuned out to this shit because it's taking too fucking long. But I mean, that's the thing is like that pacing's a really big thing, and the like this younger generation's like they need stuff now, you know. So I feel like a lot of movies recently have been accommodating that thing.
Slow down a little bit
for the short attention span. So overall, pretty good. So next thing we're going to talk about fight scenes.
Okay. What is your favorite fight scene? Because I don't want to say mine just yet. I want to know what your favorite
my favorite fight scene in this whole movie is probably going to be. It's a toss up. I'm going to give you two.
Two?
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that? Come on, man. What?
That's my show. I'll do what I want. So,
all right, fine, whatever. Give me two.
Fight scene. Actually, no, I'll just pick this one. I'm going to go with Harley Quinn's fight scene.
The one where she's escaping?
The one where she escapes.
That is my favorite fight scene.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That is my
It's really good.
fight scene.
It's done
I think
beautifully.
it was, okay, just because, you know, Harley's crazy.
She's a psychopath.
But she's getting tased, and she's singing, and it sounds creepy, but this is Harley, you know what I mean? And it's such a great scene when they think that she's passed out. She just opens her eyes.
I knew that was coming though. I'm like, dude, come on.
You can see.
You can see it.
Look,
see
we
it coming.
Movies long enough where
well,
we
it's
can
not
tell
just it's
things.
yeah. So it's like it's you can tell certain things are coming for sure.
Yeah.
But also, it's like if you know her character at all, like she's gonna withstand that, and then she's gonna fucking kill everybody in there. Which is exactly what happens.
But she did it so damn well.
It was
so damn well.
It was well choreographed. It was very flashy. She does some super ridiculous things. Like one of my favorite parts is when she's in the center of that hallway, and she has the guns, and she's going from hallway to hallway. It's fucking super intense because like she has her two guns, and like she hears someone coming this way, and then it's like she shoots that way. Someone coming this way. She looks this way. She then shoots that, and it's all over the place.
Yeah,
it's so sporadic, but with purpose, you know.
Oh,
so that's really cool.
Yeah. She's hitting her target. She's making her mark. I like when she goes into where they keep the guns, like the jail that was right there, and she started
the armory,
hand-to-hand combat with everybody. She was she was great, taking piece of her dress, you know, freaking fighting with it, taking people's knives.
How about when she smashes that guy's face into the bars?
Like
it looks
1,000 times.
It looks so brutal, and you see his face slowly start to sink in with every hit.
Serious.
It's super brutal.
Right? I mean,
super brutal.
Hey, props to the guys with the graphics out there. When you guys go all out, you guys are gonna go all out.
Yeah,
aren't you?
they go all out. There in that scene, there are some practical effects and there are some graphics. So the practical effects, I was a little, you know, like
we'll talk about that later, though. Right now, we're talking about the fight scene, and that right there, by far, my favorite fight scene. I'm not gonna lie, there are other good fight scenes in the movie. I enjoyed them all, but Harley Quinn, from beginning to finish, you know, where everybody's gonna come and save her, to saying, "Well, I can go back inside and you guys can save me."
Greedy bitch.
Right, dude. But it was definitely one of my favorite fight scenes, and
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was a very, very intense, very thought out. Yeah, I love that fight scene. It's fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. So we got to give that one to Harley Quinn. She wins the fight scene for the whole movie.
Man, she's so good.
All right, so we just went over fight scenes. Let's go over graphics and practical effects.
I did like some of the graphics. I gotta say I wasn't too thrilled with some of the graphics that were in the movie, but I did like a lot of the graphics. As you know, I'm not a big fan of like the blood scenes and stuff and everything like that. But
I know you're not a fan of gore.
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of gore. You're not a fan of like slasher movies. I get that.
But I can appreciate, and when it looks real to me, I can understand that you guys are doing your jobs to make it look
so okay.
that
So
way.
tell me what you didn't like. So let's go over that first.
Okay, so what I didn't like about some of the graphics was the helicopter scene. You remember the helicopter
In the
scene
very beginning of the movie?
Beginning of the movie.
Okay.
I was okay with the helicopter scene up until where the crash where she was on fire.
Mongo?
Yeah.
Mongal?
Yeah,
Mongal.
Where she was on fire, and TDK, the detachable
kid.
I think they could have done better with the detachments on him.
Oh, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So definitely the computer graphics for the detachable kid were not good.
No.
And I felt super bad. I'm like, that's a pretty good ability. I watch a lot of everything, including anime, and there's a character in this anime, One Piece, that has that same ability.
Oh yeah, the clown,
Captain Buggy. So I was like super excited to see that, and I was like, oh, well, all he did was took his arms off and was slapping people. So I was like, he can only take his arms off. He can't detach everything.
And I'm
like, that's such a good ability, and he fucked it up. Right? They're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what?
And all he did was like slapping people.
He's slapping people. Like,
it's not really anything serious. I was not a fan of that at all.
There was so many things you could do.
Yeah,
with that ability.
I wasn't a fan of that.
So I think creativity or lack of creativity for his ability was definitely a bummer. Let's talk some practical effects.
Okay.
What do you think of the practical effects in the movie? To be honest, there's not many. It's most of the movie is computer generated. The graphics are computer generated, but there are a couple practical effects in there.
Which ones did you?
There's not a lot where I'm like,
I can't really.
There's not a lot where I'm like, oh, that's really cool, because they're all very basic.
Yeah.
I mean
it's like it looked like the common effects in every action movie.
I think the ones that definitely I like the most. It's not really an effect, but it's still it's I guess a part of the wardrobe. But the when the starfish is on the face, it's still kind of an effect because the eyeball has to move.
I guess so.
But it's more wardrobe, I guess. That was the thing I liked the most about it, but the rest of it was kind of lame, to be honest. Which is, I don't know.
I wasn't a fan of some of the.
What's weird is like practical effects. A lot of practical effects are actually they're less expensive than doing something that's computer generated. So why wouldn't you want to use that more? And then it looks more real. It's more timeless as to where things that are computer generated, they age and they don't age well.
It just flows better.
They don't age well. It's the thing. There's very few movies that have like anything that's computer generated that still stands the test of time.
Yeah.
And you know, things are only going to get more high def. Things are only going to get, you know, graphics are only going to keep getting better.
I hope so.
Um,
We need it.
yeah,
You
we
know,
definitely need it. So I think for
movies,
I think for computer graphics, like all the computer generated scenes, most of them were really good. I think the most of them were like really good, off the charts. There was some that, you know, sucked, like the detachable kid. Practical effects, there weren't that many, and most of the ones that were in there were just meh. So we're gonna skip over that.
Yeah,
The overall graphics were great though. Like if you were talking about like the starfish, Starro, and
Well, did you like how King Shark looked?
I liked how King Shark looked.
You like how King?
I like the texture that they gave his body.
I like when they get closer to King Shark.
You can see the texture.
You can see the texture in
I
his
like
skin.
I like that.
And
And then you can see the little bit of scars and whatnot on his face,
Yeah.
like a real fucking shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, so let's move on to our next category, direction. So it's no surprise how successful and how well thought out and planned this movie was, since the director was James Gunn.
Yeah.
What did you think of his direction?
I actually loved it. I thought it was really good.
He's really good, right?
He is really good. I thought the way he was able to direct every scene, you know, to the way it looked like it was supposed to. Even those scenes where they're talking like in what is it, in the jungle, and you see the character, but you have the silhouette of the person they're talking to. You know what I mean? Even that was like, it's not a distraction, you know, but you know she's talking to somebody. So I actually like the way he focuses the camera and directed the way, like it worked out great.
Yeah,
It worked out
he's a great director. He has a
Yeah.
good vision. You know, he has a great eye for planning out and basically having like every scene that's ever shot
Yeah.
has purpose. Everything in the shot has purpose. So whenever he makes something, it's so creative and it's so unique. So let's go over some of the things that he's done.
Just imagination in his head to capture all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So I
That's
mean, he's
fucking
done
crazy.
he's done all of the Guardians of the Galaxy, with the third one coming out soon.
Yeah.
Super. I don't know if you saw Super. Super's with Rainn Wilson when he doesn't pretend to be a superhero. He becomes a superhero.
I don't know if
It's a very unique movie. If you haven't seen that, give that a look. It's pretty unique.
I'm gonna definitely take a look into that for sure.
He did. I didn't know he did this movie. Movie 43. So movie 43 had like one of those like gigantic casts. Like it has a huge cast. Kind of like Mars Attacks, where there's like a ridiculous amount of actors in it,
Is
like
the movie
well-known actors.
43, is that the one with like
It's got like Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Stephen Merchant. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
There's a shit ton of
Like,
actors in it.
Is that the one with like Zac Efron and
I don't know.
Cameron Diaz?
He could be. They all could be in there for all I know. You know. So I mean, he also did Slither. Fucking love Slither.
Slither's good. Slither's really good.
So I mean, James Gunn he doesn't have as many movies where he's directed as like some directors, but the movies he directs are fucking solid. Fucking solid. So gotta give it to James Gunn.
Dude,
You keep doing you, boo boo.
seriously, man. Seriously. You keep doing whatever it is you're doing because it's working out.
It's
It really
working
is.
out.
You know?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I love.
Loving your movies, man. Really loving it.
Yeah, the direction's great.
It's fucking awesome.
It's great.
I don't have a problem.
There's no problems there. Let's
I
move
have
on
no
to
problems with that at all.
the next category. Next category is score. So, what did you think of the music in the movie?
To be honest, I didn't focus too much on the music. There was so much going on, you know what I mean? That visually I'm distracted by everything else. I didn't pay too much attention to the music other than the opening with Johnny Cash, which if I'm just basing off that, then hey, that's a grade A from me.
Well, I mean,
But,
there's a lot of music in there. I mean,
I know that there's a lot of music.
and I do believe that he did a really good job of picking out music that literally fit every scene, every tone. So that's an A plus in my book.
Okay.
You know, so I really enjoyed the score for the movie. It was done very well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he doesn't get to pick everything, but he does get to see the final thing. So like, I love that. The score was fucking fantastic, and you know,
Do you know?
I don't have any.
Do you know who did the music for that?
Well, I mean, I'm not entirely sure who did all of the music, so I'm looking for it right now.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know it takes
Well, one
a
person.
bit of a fucking team. To
Yeah,
do
there's a
this kind
team
of
that
shit.
there's a team that does the score, but I mean, we're not gonna spend all the time to do it because the music was great. There's no discrepancies here.
There's no discrepancy towards the music.
Yeah, there's no discrepancy towards the music.
Yeah.
The music was great.
Fits the movie.
It's the movie. So let's talk about the last 15 minutes of the movie. The ending.
The ending.
Ending of the movie, the big old finale.
All right. Well, the last 15 minutes of the movie. Got the hard drive. Freaking Amanda Walker saying mission is done. Waller, sorry. Amanda Waller.
You keep doing that, man.
I know. Hey,
You say you like movies.
I love movies. You know. But they say the mission's done. You got to bail. Time to come home. But this big old starfish. It's released on freaking the entire town.
Okay, so before we go any further, did you know anything about Starro?
No.
Okay, so Starro has been in
The only thing I know about Starro from what I've seen was he took control of Superman.
Yeah, that's So he's in the comic book, he's in the animated movies. And the thing I remember him the most from was Batman Beyond, where he literally takes over Superman, the whole Justice League, and a large portion.
Yeah.
He takes over a large portion of the planet.
I remember that.
But it's weird because when he takes Superman, he's not on his face, he's on his chest. And also, the difference between that animated movie and this movie is that when Starro dies, everyone that he's attached to also dies. But in the animated movie, they just return to normal.
Starfish gets let go and everybody comes back to life.
Yeah, everyone not comes back to life. They're not dead. So if you're already, cause they established in the movie that like these guys are basically corpses. The only thing that's keeping them alive is the starfish. They didn't go into detail whether or not the people that are currently living would go back to normal. I just assumed they died because after the starfish died, they all went, and that was it. So,
well, again, starfish is unleashed on this freaking town. Okay, wreaking havoc, taking people's, ability away. Their corpses attached to a star now, and
it's kind of like a hive mind.
Come home.
It's kind of like a hive mind. So like,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
This fucking lady's brutal, man. She is so brutal. Like she doesn't give a shit. We got people there that could probably stop this thing. It's not our business.
Yeah. I mean, it's South America. Who cares?
Jesus Christ, you and your. But I mean, Bloodsport doesn't have a problem with it. He's down to freaking leave.
Well, that's not true. He does definitely have a problem with it.
At the beginning, he seemed like he's trying to fool himself into thinking that he doesn't give a shit.
So that's not the same thing.
All right,
but yeah,
fine. Then he's trying to fool himself he doesn't give a damn.
And then, yeah.
So he just said, you know what our orders are. We're out of here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Ratcatcher's trying to make a point. Harley's trying to make a point. Everybody's trying, we got to save these people. We got to follow orders. He basically doesn't want to die because he knows that if he goes against what she's saying, he's blowing up his head. As they're walking away, he says, fuck. Turns his head around, starts going after the damn thing. And that's where Ratcatcher says, I knew there was good in you.
I think the outro of the movies was pretty good. I talked to one specific person who said he did not like this. He did not like Star or the Conqueror, and I was like, well, because like he likes like comic book movies and stuff, but he doesn't know anything about the universe. And I was telling him like, well, Starro's in the comic books and he's in the animated movies. Like his character is relevant, you know.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that Starro gets that big though.
I don't remember him getting that big in the comic. I'd have to go back and look, but in the animated version, the main Starro was attached to Superman, and he only got about the size of Superman's chest. Yeah. The rest of them were smaller, but he only got to about the size of Superman's chest. But whatever. I mean, it made for a really cool ending where he was like, he basically was a kaiju. He's like, there's a kaiju up in this bitch. It's like, yeah, that was pretty sweet.
I think one of the baddest scenes after he was coming back was Bloodsport taking every piece of attachment off his suit to create this big ass fucking gun and start shooting at this fucking monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought it was pretty. I don't get how this little piece of thing just gets attached and all of a sudden.
It's like Iron Man, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's like Iron Man. It's like it's compact, but
you got to make another movie
up.
so you explain your damn equipment is what you got to do. I don't know where you're getting this shit.
We already talked about that in the beginning.
I'm damn it.
Already talked about that in the beginning. But overall, last 15 minutes of the movie, did you like or dislike it?
I actually liked the movie.
Last 15 minutes. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. I actually liked the last 15 minutes of the movie. I like how he took up the role, told King Shark, num num, and goes fucking eats it. Polka Dot Man, that's your mom. And he's freaking taking people out with that. Harley finally realizes what she needs to use the javelin. Was it a javelin?
Yeah, the javelin.
Javelin for. And she runs off the freaking thing and just tries to stab it in the eye, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
And she goes, and apparently the eye is water.
It's
just
not,
goes into the eye.
It's not water, but it's definitely fluid.
It's fluid.
You have fluid in your eyeballs, just so you know.
I understand that.
Yeah. So yeah, last 15 minutes of the movie were great. So I think from start to finish, I really enjoyed this movie. There was very few things I did not like about it, so I enjoyed the movie as a whole. You know, in the last 15 minutes, they definitely held up. You know, so sometimes the last 15 minutes of a movie are very lackluster. So like the movie would be good like all the way, and then like the ending of the movie is just a complete flop. So I like that they kept that pace. I like that they kept that tempo of like the movie just being like well thought out, well planned. Lots of intriguing dialogue, and the fight scenes are always fucking intense. One of my next favorite fight scene was actually the one with Flag versus Peacemaker. I know it was kind of like a brawl, but like it has that shot of Flag and Peacemaker fighting, but you see it off of Peacemaker's helmet. So that's super fucking creative. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So I mean, overall, last 15 minutes, fantastic.
Yeah, last 15 minutes, I enjoyed, how they're trying to overtake Starro. Everything was cool. I loved how freaking Bloodsport was tripping out with all those rats coming around him and everything like that.
Yeah. There was a lot of things in the movie. Like, we're not going to go into detail, but yeah, there were things like, how come no one thought of this when they were putting the fucking team together? But it made for good comedy. Yeah. It made for really good comedy, which is nice because that's like a mood lightener.
Overcame his fear though, right? Overcame his fear.
Yeah.
Got on his lap, freaked out for a minute.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to what was Sebastian was the name of the Sebastian was the name of the even though his character was barely in the movie, I love that character so much.
Oh, Sebastian, that's
right.
Yeah.
He's like, is that rat waving at me? I believe he is.
Yeah.
He's like, oh look, he's giving you a leaf. You know?
Friendship.
Oh, it's adorable.
But
I want one of those.
last 15 minutes, no problem with it really. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed the entire movie. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to our next and our final category, our rating. So overall, how much did you like the movie?
Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I liked the movie a lot. I would definitely watch this movie over and over. I'd probably even buy the damn DVD. You know what I mean? Or
Who the fuck buys DVDs anymore?
Just
What do
to
you
have as a collection?
What are you, 70?
Hey, hard copies are a thing. Okay.
A thing of the past?
Hey. This is the thing. so are freaking trading cards, but people are still trading that shit, okay?
That's also true.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, trading cards have higher value.
Well, we'll see in the future what happens with DVDs or Blu-rays.
They're going to be gone.
Probably.
They're going to be gone.
I would like to still have that.
Yeah, they're going to be gone. That movie definitely I might put in my collection, my digital collection.
Go fuck yourself.
But yeah, that movie is fantastic. I enjoyed it very much, from start to finish. Well paced, good characters. It's funny. It was incredibly funny, and there was enough action. The action to like comical ratio plus the story pacing is done so well. It's like it was.
We talked about this or not, but
we didn't talk about any of the ratios like that. But I mean, from start to finish, it kept you entertained. So I mean, that's a big thing. So a lot of movies they kind of pander off, and it's hard for the viewer to like keep interest. So this movie did a great job of keeping you interested from when you started the movie, and you felt like you were a part of it. So that's like a really big thing. Like when you're watching a film, is you want to feel like you're in the movie. You're not watching something. And there's very few movies that I've watched like that have sucked me into that movie, into that universe. Yeah. And this actually was one of them. I really enjoyed this fucking movie. I did not think I was going to enjoy this movie nearly as much as I thought I did. Just considering, the original Suicide Squad and then the Birds of Prey movie. Yeah. So this is a step in the right direction. I hope they keep James Gunn on. He's fantastic. And then keep that whole fucking team because they're killing it, and I think DC needs a win. DC definitely needs a win.
I know we talked about the production of the movie, but do you know what the budget was for the movie? No clue. Okay, the budget for the movie was actually $175 million.
That's actually not that much.
It was $175 million.
If you think about all the people involved, it's not that much money.
It's not that much money.
So I think that $175 million for that big budget movie with all those big actors and the director. So the director, I mean, he's not going to be cheap either. None of those characters, none of those actors are going to be cheap. And for them to have such great production value out of such a, I know it's not small, but a smaller budget, fantastic. Knocked it out of the park.
Definitely well done. I enjoyed that movie so much. The way they used everything was just on point. On point. I also know what that movie brought in. You want to know what the movie brought in?
Yeah.
$748 million.
Well, I'd say we definitely get a sequel.
It brought in $748.8 million.
So is that worldwide?
Worldwide.
Worldwide
is what it brought in.
Was that opening weekend?
That wasn't opening weekend. Opening weekend was a little over 25 million was opening.
That's really low.
It's low.
Opening weekend, that would be considered a flop,
I guess.
But it's only been out for 2 weeks now, and it went from 25 to 700. So I think that's good. So I bet you know what happened is people saw it on HBO Max, and they're like, I want to go see the theatrical version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what I was thinking too.
Because that movie definitely, I've seen it like 3 times, and I think it does deserve a theatrical version.
Oh, yeah.
Like I want to go see it in theaters. You know,
definitely. We will definitely see this movie in theaters.
we're big advocates of going to the cinema. So if you ever get a chance to go to the theater to watch a movie, especially one with a large production value like this, go see the movie.
Yeah,
you're gonna do yourself that service and go sit down in the theater and then hear someone's baby cry in the background. You tell them to shut the fuck up when you throw some popcorn at them, and just enjoy the movie.
I would just kick them out.
All right, so we both agree the movie's fantastic.
Great movie.
I think for the rating, I'm gonna go with 4.5 Nicolas Cages.
4.5 Nicolas Cages.
4.5 Nicolas Cages.
You know what? I'm gonna fucking agree with that.
4.5 Nicolas Cages.
Nicolas Cages sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I didn't want to give away our scoring system to the viewers before we started. So, our scoring system is going to be every episode we're going to have a different actor. So this actor we chose for the scoring system this time is Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
So, yeah.
Who knows what it'll be next time?
Who knows?
But that is how we're going to be doing our thing. This is how we're going to be rating our shows. This is our perspective. You can take it, you can not. You know, it's completely up to you guys. Like I said, we love watching movies. We watch movies all the time. We talk every day about movies.
Well, yeah, we're people. That's what we do. Movies are our passion. So I mean, if you like our point of view on movies, you know, I mean, feel free to, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Yep.
You know, definitely comment. Let us know what you guys like and don't like about this show. Is it the fucking incredibly plain background? I mean, there's nothing there.
There's gonna be stuff.
There's gonna be stuff around. This is literally episode 1. You know. A lot of our shit got fucked up. Some shit didn't get delivered. So, I mean, the production value is gonna go up eventually. But let us know if there was like a category you'd like us to talk about. So, yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get all the notifications and whatnot. But I hear YouTube's having issues with that. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm George Lugo. This is Manny
Rivera.
This has been Not Your Everyday Critics. So,
damn.
Happy movie going, bitches.
Yeah. Fuckers. All right, then.